Well, I'm back, guys, and I want to apologize. It has literally been like over 110 days since I've made a video, and in that 110 days my life has flipped upside down, back around, and just all kinds of cool changes, and we're on the top side. But anyhow, it didn't start out that good. So about 110, 20 days ago, my mom got really sick, and I live right across the street from her. She got really sick and she got put in the hospital, had to have some major surgery. It was a mess, and she had to go to a specialist down in Texas, so we had to drive back and forth to Texas. My daughter ended up staying there and taking care of her for a while with us, so we were having to drive there. So that was kind of the trigger that started this chain of events. During this time, I homeschool my daughter, and we had talked about it. She said she wanted to go back into regular school, so we did that. Well, during this time frame, I got offered a job, and I thought, well, if my daughter's not going to be at home, I don't need to homeschool her. I can take this job and it'll work out. Oh, was I wrong? But anyhow, so my daughter went home back to regular school, went to a couple volleyball practices, and the same kind of drama that was taking place. She decided she didn't want to be in school anymore, that she wanted to go back to homeschool. So I took the job thinking she wasn't going to be, and then she's back to homeschool, and I still took a job. So that's the beginning of all this. I'm going to finish the story here in a second, but I'm going to show you guys our pigs that I haven't shown you guys in forever. So these are our lard pigs. One of them is kind of a mixed breed, but they're all kind of fattening up. The bigger ones I'm going to butcher here in the next, whenever it cools down. Our sheep, you can see they're doing good. I actually think that my little female right there is pregnant. So I don't know if I had the Dorper mix back there at the time, but we got her too, so she's doing good. So anyhow, I ended up taking a job, and I got offered a job that something I love to do. I was a cop for 20 something years, and with my bad leg and everything happening, I didn't think I'd ever get that opportunity again. So I took a job as a detective. So I love doing that. It's fun. It's something I've always enjoyed doing, and I'm pretty good at it. And they worked with me to where I can have time off, to where I can keep my fishing channel, my YouTube, and everything else. Well, with that said, since I took the job, I haven't made a video for neither one. I've gotten behind, really upset with myself about it, but I uncovered a bunch of crap at work. So I've worked, I mean, just nonstop, continuing hours. Got some human trafficking stuff going on, and we just, all kinds of crazy stuff. The world's just not a real good place, and it makes me feel good to be able to be a part of it again, to try to help that. But anyhow, this takes place. So I take this job, which is kind of hindering everything on getting everything else done, but it's going to make it quite a bit more money, to where we have the opportunity to improve a lot of the stuff that we're doing on our property. So it's the checks and balances of it. The good outweighs the bad big time. So we decided that this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Everything works out. So I'm not 2 weeks in, and the well goes out at our house. So it caves in. I hire a company to come and try to get them all out and get it out, and it's completely caved in and it's ruined. There's no way to fix it. So we got to get a new well dug. Well, during this time, there was a grant out there that was giving farmers wells that basically they would reimburse 90% of the cost for them. So you couldn't get a well dug. It was like a 6-week backlog to get a well. So in order to get our well dug, I had to wait 6 weeks. So we did not have enough water. My pond was going down. I have 2 wells here, but my pond was going down, and able to switch everything around and MacGyver a system that gave us water. The pond dried up, and we didn't have enough water to keep the trees going, to keep the garden going, to do everything together. So I just kind of gave up. I quit making videos. I just worked my butt off, and we ended up getting a new well dug. You know, things are all working out, but nonetheless, it was a mess for this year, and we didn't get everything that we wanted to done. So our garden was pretty much a total flop. Couldn't keep it watered. We would hand water with buckets the tomatoes and peppers, and we kept some tomatoes and peppers and some okra, and we actually got a little bit of corn, but I pretty much gave up on it, and this is what. So it turned into just a big weed bed, big nasty mess. It is what it is. The careless weeds got tall, but I've never seen a 2-year-old careless weed. They'll all freeze and they'll die. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. So we just cut our losses and called it good. But with that said, I'm getting back in shape. Like, I've lost almost 20 pounds since I've got back to work, and I gotta open this gate so it's gonna be bouncy. And I have mentally not felt this good in years. Once you're a cop, it's kind of hard to turn it off. You know, Ernest Hemingway said, once you've hunted man, there's really no other hunting. And I'm not talking about like actually going out there with firearms, but the cat and mouse game, chasing bad guys and outsmarting them. It's fun. It's fun, and I'm thankful that I get the opportunity to be back again, work for a great agency, making a lot of stuff happen. So it's really nice. But now I'm here. I hauled in a bunch of round bales. I'll show you like a round bale set over there. I got some on the other end of our property. Pardon the mess here. I got some here. And so anyhow, I've divided up our paddocks for winter, and I've gotten back home and trying to get things back to where they are. So what I did the other day over here, I'll show you guys, and hopefully we can salvage this year a little bit. But over here where our corn was, and like I said, I couldn't keep water. We did get a little corn, but I couldn't keep water out of it, so it was kind of a little bit of a nightmare. But I hauled in a bunch of cow manure, and then I put a bunch of hay on top of it and spread it out there, and the chickens are picking through and eating the seeds off of it and stuff. So hopefully it turns into being something fairly decent. Next year we'll have a good corn base. And I have never done a fall garden before, and I'm a little bit late, but it's really warm. I mean, it's 90 degrees this week in mid-October, so I'm taking a gamble. But I took in front of our solar. This is a wasted piece of property. I didn't want our animals getting in, rubbing on it and stuff like that, so I thought I got to fence it off, but I wanted to make a fence big enough where if the solar company ever had to come work on it, they could get in it. Well, the backside, last year I planted corn. It worked out really handy. So this year we just planted our winter garden. I've never done it before, so I planted some beets, a bunch of onion seeds, some lettuce, some cauliflower, some broccoli, Swiss chard, all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, we planted all that, and that is gonna be hopefully a winter garden, and I'll build some hot boxes over it and make it where hopefully the stuff, if it does get cold fast enough, that we'll be able to fix it, and we'll do all that and see what happens. So I am adding some more sheep. I'm going to get a little tractor. We're going to do a bunch of stuff that way, so things will improve, you know, on the manpower. And I've done a lot of stuff. I got my skid steer, but I don't actually have a farm tractor. So with this job, I don't have as much time to be home, but I'm making enough money that I'll be able to buy equipment to make my job easier. And that's the goal, is to build this thing up to where when I actually do retire, that I'll have the equipment, the facilities, and the infrastructure built around here that will make this place that much easier and everything else. So anyhow, with that said, over here I've got my well, and show you guys kind of what we did. Never seen a well dug before. It's pretty fascinating, and it's really a blessing that this is all done. Temporary setup for our well, which is pretty MacGyvered, but I got a company gonna come, and they're gonna build us a well house and trench it to the house and do everything to where we're. And our other well was kind of jippy, and the water was okay, but not near as good. In this well, they dug really deep, and they put like bentonite around it in the area that was jippy and got past that to good water. So the water's actually a lot better. So I'm really excited to have a new well in a plastic modern casing. And then in that well house area where we're going to build it, I'm actually going to put my walk-in cooler. So it's going to work out really neat. The infrastructure of what we're doing, I'll be able to have my walk-in cooler out there. So anyhow, with other failures, here is our food forest. Now, we did get some stuff, but like I say, we ran out of water, so we weren't able to keep everything as we wanted. But we did grow a ton of them dicam radishes, and you can see there's one that's still up, and we fed the pigs out of them pretty much all year. These are, I don't know what you call them, guju fruits or whatever. They're supposed to be like a really powerful, like superfood, they call it. So we're gonna have a bumper crop of pecans this year. Our trees are loaded. Got a bunch of blackberries. Pears is the only fruit that actually made it on the tree. And then I cheered just to see if I could grow them. And I let them go too far because the flowers were really pretty and I wanted to see them make. But out here you can see the weeds and the stickers and everything. It just took over. Just didn't have time. And we didn't do a lot of the work on things that we should have. So you can see we got some onions come back up, and there's some carrots that I actually mowed over, because I mowed over all this. So I'm gonna here today and dig up what we can. There's some sweet potatoes we had planted, and sacrifice, you know, or sacrifice, salvage what I can out of, you know, the little bit that we did get to survive. So anyhow, the wood chips that I put down did save us out here, because it did keep stuff pretty wet and, you know, retained moisture. But we had a problem where Bermuda took over it. So truthfully, I'm probably going to end up letting this just turn into Bermuda underneath fruit trees, and then it'll be easy to keep up clean, mowed, stuff like that. And then we'll do different areas with garden stuff. I don't know, it's just playing it as we do. All the plum thickets that I planted, they survived little by little. Everything is working out. Some overhead fuel storage. I'm going to have a fuel storage to be able to run, you know, when I get my other tractor. I'm going to try to get a little mini excavator to where I can help clean cattails and stuff out of the pond. And it's really nice. Like, I was really worried. Like, I thought I was going to lose the pond and all the fish, and we ended up not losing anything. It did dry completely under the bridge. So where the bridge goes from one side of the pond to the other, like, I was out there with a shovel digging through to try to get it where we would be able to go out and have the fish can, you know, go from side to side. And then at nighttime we would shut the water off that we had back fed to the house and let it run to the pond. And it was not a good situation, but we survived. All the fish made it. A lot of the, you know, none of our fruit trees or nothing died. They just didn't do very good. The only thing we lost was our garden. And you know what? That's part of it. That's why you grow more than you need, so that you have it the next year. Now, I do have issues. My blackberries got full of Johnson grass. I wasn't able to keep them clean this year, not being home. I don't know what to do there. If any of you guys have ideas on how to get rid of Johnson grass that are growing in blackberries, that'd be awesome, because I can't get rid of it. So, but anyhow, I'll show you the pond. And it has turned out to be, it's still low, but not near as low as it was. You can see it's still probably 6 inches shy of where it ought to be, but fish, they're all doing good. The ducks and geese are all swimming around. They think I'm fixing to feed them, so they're all coming to be out here. Got a turkey that thinks she's a duck. She hangs out with the ducks and geese all the time. But you can see the bridge, it got low. Oh, anyhow, not a whining session. It would have been had I made a video several months back. But this is one of those resilient things. You know, we just can't give up. And, you know, God always seems to find a way. Being able to put me back to work, man, that's nice. I feel better. I'm healthier. I'm eating better. I'm more active. My mind is better. And then I appreciate this when I'm at home more. I'm able to, you know, come out here and work out stress instead of this being my job. This comes back to that hobby job, to where it's something I actually enjoy doing, and I don't stress over it. I enjoy coming out here and spending time and, you know, and making our place better. So it's going to work out, and hopefully we'll salvage a little bit of a winter garden. You know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's just, we're going to do what we can, and next year hopefully we'll do better. And you know, I've always been a little bit of a prepper on things, and I always thought I was the most prepared guy in the world, and I am. I mean, we had a well, we were able to make water work, but our rural water down here, it's a joke. Like, it's the nastiest tasting chemical water you ever had, and they wanted $4,000 to turn our meter on. And way back in the day, I paid for a meter, but just because I hadn't used it, they have a $4,000 membership fee to join their water program, and I'm not paying $4,000 to have an expensive water bill for water that I don't like the way it tastes. It gives me acid reflux. So anyhow, this next year we're going to dig 2 more wells. I'm going to put one in the back towards our garden and one in the front for our orchard, and then we always have water. So everything that we've got going on will always have water. We're not going to run out. We're not going to go through this thing again, and we'll have a backup to a backup to a backup. So anyhow, I apologize. I have had just a million issues. If you're a follower of my fly fishing channel, I'm even behind on some of my orders to you guys. That is all fixed and remedied. We have really went through and started trying to get all that done. I apologize, guys. It's been a rough 3 months, but we are on the mend. It's almost fishing season here in Oklahoma. They usually stock in November. With this government shutdown in the hot temperatures, I don't know that they'll stock like they normally do on time. It may have to wait, you know, it's federal fish, and then the temperatures are too hot right now. But it's soon, and that'll be nice. It'll be really awesome to be able to get back at that. So anyhow, guys, I appreciate your support. I know I've lost some subscribers and stuff, and I hope I'm able to build this back and become a little bit more credible with you guys and not just a missing person. But it was just too much going on, and I had to take care of family and life, and I didn't have time to come out here and do this. So I apologize, but hopefully we're back on track, and we will see you guys. Hopefully I'm gonna try to do a video a week, and if we get all that done, that should give us a pretty good way of what we're doing. We're not going to give up on this homestead. I'm going to try to work 5-6 more years and maybe longer if I stay healthy, and that really changes my pension outlook on life, which is really good. So if I can do that and build this thing up in the process, 5-6 years from now, we're going to have a heck of an awesome deal. So I will continue this winter. I'll show you guys what we got going on and how we do it and how you can do it with a job. So a little bit of an audible on what we had going on, but here we are. We're gonna make it work. So thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.